Today we are making a delicate and beautiful dove artwork using my best secret technique for ultra smooth paste and some other fun skills that I'll show you along the way. The results are unbelievable, just wait until the end and see. Welcome to my amazing Patreon subscribers and all of you who are brought here by YouTube algorithm. I hope you're going to enjoy today's episode. So we've done quite a lot of florals recently, and today I fancy a bird, specifically a dove. 3D dove, how about that? Nice challenge. This is the canvas for today, so we've got, I think it's 30 by 40, quite a heavy one. As usual, I will start with a sketch, but you can of course find the royalty images online. You can find some templates, perhaps stencils. I started one here. Just for those of you who are new, I'm going to repeat the same thing I always say. I don't like drawing on the canvas because I rub off my designs many times and I don't want to make the canvas dirty. Okay. A fun fact. Once in my life I made a 3D ceramic dove, and that was when I started working for my school. It was a commission for the school, and I think thanks to it I actually got the job. It's very rare for me. Almost in the middle of the canvas, very rare. I made it up so big, so now very quick transfer. It doesn't have to be perfect. All I want is the shape because I will be focusing on the background in a minute. Now I've got my favorite super heavy gesso and I'm going to cover most of the background in a random way. Let's just say that, just like this. I do want some texture. I'm sitting here and thinking what colors they want to see in the background. I picked something I really like. It's Payne's Grey. Lovely shade of grey with a blue hint. Really like this color, but I don't use it enough. So perhaps I'm kind of torn between, do we want a really dark background or not so dark? Can't be safer than this in my world. That's what happens when you give me too much blue. Yeah. I don't want to see any green. So, this is danger zone here. I should probably use a bit of white as well. This is very brave of me to use this. How about a bit of burnt amber or burnt sienna? Too much drama, what do you think? Maybe. What am I creating? Some kind of atmospheric, I don't know, stormy sky? But what's this brown doing? Not sure. Don't worry, I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same. Don't you worry. We'll get somewhere. Now we definitely need to spray it with water because it's getting very dry. Ay, I'm a 5-year-old, yes. Have you ever seen anything like it? First I thought I want some drips. Now I'm thinking I don't want any drips. I'm going to leave it and see how it dries. It's all dry. At the moment I am adding very small amount of this blue into places with a dry brush to unify it, so we can still see the other colors but not that much. I've picked some blush. I also have a touch of permanent rose. I would like to see a hint of something else here. This is going to be yummy, but very small amount. So little, but you see that? I can see that. I'm liking it. I'm going to make some fresh paste for my bird. This is my new purpose filler. I haven't opened it yet. I'm using my favorite heavy gesso and adding some of this. I'm not measuring anything. I am aiming at maybe half or maybe less. Less of the paste. Don't know. Let's mix that. Mix it well so there are no blobs, because the blobs will clog my little cone that I've just made out of cellophane. What would you call it? thick cream or melted ice cream? Probably melted ice cream. Don't put it anywhere near the children, because it does look appetizing, doesn't it? My little tube is ready. I am going to keep the plate nearby, because sometimes the nozzle gets clogged and I want to release it here. Let's outline the body first. Let's see how it flows. Okay, quite thin, but I did want thin at the beginning because of the beak specifically. Whoa. Okay. Okay, that's a seagull now. Yeah, so let's quickly remove it. Stretch the little bit. I'm going to fill the whole body. I want more paste. I'm not sure how I want the legs yet. Very careful now. I don't want to mess up the shape. Again, too long. But that's all right. That's the right shape for the beak. I'm happy with this. So now I'm going to cover the whole inside. Yes, you probably did not expect that. But I am filling up the body, and I probably am going to ignore the legs at the moment completely. I could use a much thicker nozzle, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to spread it with a brush. I used paste many times creating various animals and various creatures. However, I don't think I've ever made it so thick inside. How this is going to behave once I touch it with a brush. If I want it even thicker, I'm going to apply more later. At the moment, I'm spreading this. Paste feels very, very nice. And that's another way to make it. I could wait for the edges to be dry, and then I could just take a palette knife and spread the paste as well. That's also absolutely possible. So this is the first stage of the tummy. I am going to outline the tail. My mixture is pretty runny because I think I added more gesso than the paste. Well, I can do the wings now. Let me start with this one first. Now I am going to make some partitions in between the feathers. I'm not 100% sure how I drew them, but it's alright, I can change. There will be some gaps. Some of you might not know this, but it was my birthday last week. And as it was on the 22nd of June, I've decided to give you guys a discount on my website. 22% off all my pieces with code AB22. So head over to abcreativeofficial.com to find this piece and many others at a discount. Once I've got the outlines ready, I can fill the tail because it's already dry. I did it yesterday. I'm putting more towards the end and I'm spreading it till we join this section. I was thinking of making the feathers using palette knife, but then I thought maybe this technique would be, I don't know, more appealing to you guys. Maybe you would think this is an easier way to create it, because once you've got the outline, you can spread it nicely. And considering the fact that the feathers are always very, very smooth, that works really well, doesn't it? You see how nicely the lines stay. And we've got the 3D effect. Doves are very smooth, so I'm not going to mess up the plumage here, making individual feathers, because, you know, when you imagine a dove, it's just so smooth. I am hoping that I'll have enough paste for both. Look at the cute patterns. It's squeezed out. I think I didn't make enough paste, so I'll have to make some more. I want to show you from very close. So I'm applying the paste in between, tapping it down with a wet brush. It's very important that it's wet. If it's dry, you'll keep lifting the paste up. And now, when you touch it, look, it spreads really nicely. Really small, like this. It just dawned on me that I made a dove a long time ago and I should probably have a design. Why didn't I think of it? Okay, so I do keep all my designs. You'll probably be surprised, but I've got tons of designs that I made. No, I don't sell my designs. I do share them with my patrons, or you can print them off, different sizes, and you can use them yourself. You can sign up at patreon.com/avcreativeofficial. If you haven't watched any of those videos, I strongly recommend. Oh, nice raven. Oh, yes. A much smaller dove. I might create a little gap here for the leg, because I don't want the leg to go higher than the body. I sketched it quickly with a pencil so I know where to apply the leg. And by the way, I think I've got some good news. The good news is that I did have some brown paste, or grey or something, that I did not want to use on a dove. However, look how much. I completely don't mind using it on a leg. Yeah, that's brilliant, because I don't have to make anything else. What was I using it for? Don't remember, but I'm sure my editor is going to check and show you which video I was using it for. Yeah, so this is going to be leg number 1. Look how thin. Okay, I might leave them to dry. So we've lost the eye, of course, so I'm redrawing it here. Markings on the beak as well. I'm going to do something unusual. I'm going to dig the eye out. Oh, by the way, I hope you've noticed the background looks so much better now when the bird is actually white and stands out. Quite like those atmospheric clouds. I've got a needle. And I am digging in carefully. I really don't want to mess it up. I think the eye is lovely now. I am back with my grey tube this time. I am going to apply it here. And this part of the beak. I'm happy with the eye. I'm leaving it to dry. I can't help this poetry, forgive me, I'm sorry. I mixed some grey, but that doesn't look very grey, so we've got white, we've got a touch of black, and then I added some pink blush and burnt sienna. I do like mixing my own stuff, so even if it's grey, I want something a little bit more complex than black and white. I'm leading this grey up to here, because this is going to be dark as well, especially this joint area here, lightening this part. I want to create an impression that we see through the feathers somehow. I know the dove looks a little bit too grey at the moment, but I do have to create those shadows in the right places. I watered down my grey, actually I tinted it with white heavily. So these are the like bone structures we can see underneath it a little bit. And I will lighten up some sections. So if you think it's too dark, I had to create some contrast. I added some blue and some pink to my mix. It's all other colors of the sky I do want to see on the dove. We need some marks with white. They've almost disappeared, all the white bits, haven't they? Okay, messed it up a little bit here and there. I believe that I used magenta with a touch of amaranth red and was it burnt sienna to create this beak color. So where does it go? Up to here. Then there should be a white part here. Need to check with an original dove. Now my favorite part has to be perfectly round. That's a very big eye. Maybe it's too big, but I like it. I'm going to leave it to dry. You can't have an eye without this spark. I call it the spark of life. I was going to do some other stuff to it, but I really like it. To be honest, I think it's pretty powerful. I'm quite torn whether to keep it for myself, put it on the website, but please check my website. If it's going to be there and you're going to be the first person to have it, it's yours then. There we are. Please let me know what you think of this one in the comments. It really helps out the algorithm, and it helps me create more free content for you and reach more people. Don't forget to check out my Patreon for extended versions of my tutorials, and if you would like to own this piece or any other of my original art, head over to my website abcreativeofficial.com. We've got a special birthday discount, 22% off every piece you purchase. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all next week. Bye bye.